Breonna Taylor is strongly on the minds of everyone who came out to this protest earlier this afternoon, and the message was simple: no justice, no Derby.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
For 101 days, protesters have packed the streets of Louisville to fight for justice for Breonna Taylor. Tonight, thousands from Louisville and others from across the country converged at South Central Park, less than a half mile from Churchill Downs.
We have decided you will have no peace, Louisville, no peace until we have our justice.
Until Freedom led this rally, but they are just one group involved in the now 100+ days of protesting.
And that's very important, that this is not just a one-person show. This is a collective unit of protest organizers, of activists coming together and saying enough is enough.
After a spirited 45 minutes of speeches, chants, poems, and songs, they packed on Weller Avenue and marched towards Churchill Downs. On a day where all eyes are on Louisville for the Derby, organizers criticized the city for having a party during this time and called out Churchill Downs for its past.
From 1912 to 1915 to the year 2000, there were no black jockeys. We didn't see another black jockey till 2013. So the Kentucky Derby and the Churchill Downs has never been about us. 146 years, and they have a racist past.
The protesters then made the turn onto Taylor Avenue, going toward Churchill Downs. Tucked away just outside of downtown Salyersville, up the hill from signs dotting Restaurant Row, is a place full of wonder, colorful lights, inflatable Christmas characters, even reindeer.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas.
And the jolly old elf himself. Year after year, good boys and girls gather on Candy Cane Lane to catch a glimpse and make a Christmas wish.
Old Santa will have something under the tree when you get up Christmas morning that you're going to like.
The beard is real, but this Santa's name is not Kris Kringle.
My name's Ben Gardner, also known as Santa Claus around here.
Ben Gardner and his family light up the gravel road every Christmas. While he doesn't ask for money, he receives even more in return.
It's a peaceful joy down in you that you can do something for other folks that they will enjoy getting out and doing.
However, unlike our last visit in 2017, Gardner is not donning the red suit this year.
Santa decided to stay safe at the North Pole this year because of the virus.
Gardner knows all too well the impact of COVID-19. He was exposed in August and tested positive.
Certainly don't want anyone else to experience the virus as I did. It's not something that you want. The main problem, I think, was dehydration, which landed me in the hospital.
He was hospitalized for 4 days, but has recovered. And at 87 years old, he feels blessed to be home for the holidays.
Considering everything, I'm still short of breath and tire easily, but apparently there's no long-term adverse effects.
For some kids in the mountains, Gardner may be the only representation of Santa they ever meet in person. In a year of virtual classes and social distancing, he decided to light up Candy Cane Lane once again to brighten even the darkest of winter days.
And this gives them a chance to get out, drive around, see the lights with their parents, and do it safely. I think that's the main reason for us to do it. It's something for the children.
When children arrive, Gardner stays socially distant and masked up to prevent the spread.
Where's your mailbox?
Right there by you.
While he may not embody Santa Claus this Christmas, Gardner makes sure that every letter gets to the North Pole.
That's right. He hears them and sees them, and if they leave a letter, he'll answer it. If they leave a name and address.
Gardner hopes to bring joy and light to a dreary year. But keeping in mind the reason for the season, his prayer this Christmas goes beyond Salyersville. It's for all Americans to come together in a dark time.
I think there's just so much anger that I see, and I would just love to see us heal as a country and move forward. That's what I hope for. That's what I pray for.
With the arrival of a vaccine, Gardner is hopeful that next year he'll be able to don the red suit once again to pass out candy canes and good tidings. Before retiring for the night, he retrieved letters from the mailbox.
They'll go to the North Pole tonight.
Gardner noticed a stamp on the envelope, a small sign of belief, bringing a tear to the eye of Santa's helper.
It usually does.
Santa may be distant this year, but he is always watching. In McGoffin County, Conroy DeLuche, LEX 18 News. Even in the darkness of COVID-19, the sun shines bright on beautiful downtown buildings, symbols of progress and growth in Lexington, now sitting mostly vacant.
It hurts. It's a painful reality that we've all been in these last 5 weeks.
Mary Quinn Raymer is the president of Visit Lex, the city's tourism office. Her job is to attract visitors, conventions, and yes, crowds to Lexington.
There was so much momentum in the city.
Momentum that has slowed considerably since social distancing became the new reality. As the virus continued to spread, concerts and conventions were canceled and hotels emptied out as travel grounded to a halt.
Then you don't have rooms sold at hotels, and you don't have tax dollars coming in as a result of that.
And those tax dollars are what Visit Lex relies on for funding. In just a 3-week span, the city lost nearly $12 million in hotel revenue compared to the same time frame last year, a nearly $500,000 revenue shortfall for Visit Lex alone. Occupancy for the week of April 5th through the 11th down from 75.9% last year to 15% this year.
So we're looking at a very bleak April, May, into June.
But there are some glimmers of hope in a bleak time.
Beer seems to bring people together, and it seems to be working for us right now.
Last week, Ethereal Brewing opened its second location in town.
It's difficult to have your grand opening be under quarantine.
But it's here, open for curbside pickup and looking forward to welcoming old friends to a new spot.
We're ready to get open full bore, but we just can't yet.
While more than 90 meetings and conventions are canceled through June, Visit Lex reports that at least 4 meetings have been rescheduled for later this year. Visit Lex is also using its social media presence to promote the city's businesses and beauty. Raymer says you can even take on the Mural Challenge, a socially distant way to witness the beauty of a Lexington that has come so far this century.
We have certainly as a community dealt with some hard times before, and we've always rallied through those.
Visit Lex, Keeneland, and other partners launched Nourish Lexington earlier this year to provide meals for the needy around the area. Last week alone, they were able to serve 6,000 meals. Good news in a time where we all could use some. In Lexington, Conroy DeLuche, LEX 18 News. After more than 6 months of silence inside Harrison County Middle School, the band was finally back together, happy to be hitting notes instead of the play button on Google Classroom. That bell means it's time to change classes.
6 feet, guys. 6 feet.
Enforcing a 6-foot distance while greeting the kids is Principal Mike McIntyre.
It's almost Veterans Day.
And this interaction on Tuesday, November 10th, felt normal.
We learn about science, and we learn about social studies, we learn about reading, we learn about math. But the social interaction of what they've been starved from since March 6th.
Inside this classroom, we found first-year teacher Shelby White.
They always tell you, you just have to learn by experience. So this is definitely the experience.
She doesn't have her dream of a full classroom just yet, but this site was a welcome change.
When you're teaching them and it looks like they're struggling a little bit, and then you just see the light go off in their head, and you see that it clicks, and you see that you're making a difference in their education.
An important part of education is nutrition. Next door to the makeshift band room, the staff is preparing hundreds of lunches for students on and off campus. As you saw, the cafeteria serves 2 purposes right now. So does the middle school gym. Principal McIntyre says this is where the kids eat lunch because it's a little bit more room for them to spread out. They can sit at a table with their friends, take the mask down, socialize a little bit while they eat. It's a sense of normalcy. McIntyre repeated over and over during our interview, the health of students comes first. That's why temperature checks and smaller class pods are the new normal. But so is adapting. The same day we visited last week, a surge of COVID-19 cases in the community elevated Harrison County to the red zone. On Monday, all students returned to virtual learning.
We have seen this before. We have done this before. So it's a step in the wrong direction, but at least we're comfortable with what we're doing.
2020 is the year of pivoting. The learning will continue, but the moments in the hallways with students are on pause once again.
That's what we miss the most, but we have got to deal with the hand that's been dealt to us, and we're going to do the best darn job we can.
As for the students' possible return, that will be reevaluated after Thanksgiving. That, of course, will depend on the state of the virus. In Harrison County, Conroy DeLuche, LEX 18 News.